I'm broke. Like, my bank account is a ghost town. Broke. Rent is due in a week, and my last freelance gig fell through. So, I did the only thing I could think of. I answered a babysitting ad on Nextdoor. The family lived in a big old Victorian house at the edge of town, the kind with a wraparound porch and too many gables. The parents, the Havishams, were polite but distant. They offered triple the usual rate for a simple overnight job. Their only warning: our son Eli is a bit of a sleepwalker. Just guide him back to bed if you see him up. Under no circumstances let him go into the backyard after dark. I should have run. Eli was 7, with solemn eyes and a quiet voice. He went to bed without a fuss at 8 p.m. By 11, I was scrolling on the couch, thinking this was the easiest money I'd ever make. That's when I heard the soft creak on the stairs. Eli was padding down, eyes wide open but glassy, moving with purpose. He walked right past me to the large bay window overlooking the sprawling, moon-drenched backyard. Eli, buddy, it's time for bed, I whispered, heart picking up a beat. He didn't respond. He just stood there, nose almost pressed to the glass, staring into the deep shadows at the far end of the yard, near the tree line. Eli, it watches, he murmured, his voice not quite his own. From the old oak. After midnight, it watches the house. A chill shot down my spine. What watches Eli? He just shook his head and let me lead him back to bed. I wrote it off as a vivid dream. The next night, same thing. 11:47 p.m. The creek, the glassy walk, the vigil at the window. This time, I followed his gaze. The old oak was a hulking silhouette. I saw nothing but shifting leaves. On the third night, I was determined to break the cycle. I waited behind the living room archway. Right on schedule, Eli descended. But this time, instead of staring, he slowly reached for the back door's deadbolt. Eli, no, I hissed, rushing forward. I grabbed his small shoulder. He turned to me, and for the first time, his eyes were fully aware, brimming with a terror that was purely his own. You don't understand, he whispered, voice trembling. If I don't go look, it gets angry. It comes closer. Last time I didn't look, it tapped on my window. My blood ran cold. What is it, Eli? I don't know. It's just a shape, taller than my dad. It stands so still, but its head, it turns. It watches my window. He started crying silently. I have to go look. I have to let it see me looking, or it comes to the house. Stupidly, fueled by a mix of pity and a desperate need to justify my insane pay, I made a decision. Okay, tonight I'll look with you. We'll look together. Then we lock the door and call your parents. He shook his head violently, but seemed too scared to argue. We stood side by side at the window. The digital clock on the stove clicked to 12:01 a.m. There was nothing at the oak. Then, a subtle movement. Not at the oak, but in the flower bed just 10 feet from the window. The hydrangeas parted. It emerged, not fully. It was a thing of impossible angles and unnatural stillness, the color of a deep bruise against the night. It had no discernible face, but I felt its focus lock onto Eli's window, onto us. Its head, a distorted lump, tilted slowly. It was watching the house, watching us. Eli was right. It was just a shape, a profoundly wrong one. We were frozen for what felt like an eternity. Then, as if satisfied, the shape began to sink back into the shadows of the shrubs. My breath hitched. It was leaving. That's when Eli, in a panic, fumbled and knocked a porcelain figurine off the side table. The sound was a gunshot in the silent house. The shape in the yard froze mid-retreat, and then, With a jerky, unnatural motion, its tilted head swiveled away from the house, away from Eli's window, and directly at me, standing illuminated in the crack of the kitchen light. I wasn't in the assigned watching spot. I was an unknown variable, a new viewer. Every hair on my body stood up. A feeling of profound predatory attention washed over me. It wasn't looking at the house anymore. It was looking at me, seeing me. I stumbled back, yanking the curtain shut, my heart hammering against my ribs. I grabbed Eli and we ran upstairs, barricading ourselves in his room. I called the Havishams, my voice a hysterical whisper. All Mrs. Havisham said was, "Oh no, you weren't supposed to be seen. We'll be home early." Don't let Eli look out the window again. And for God's sake, don't look yourself. They haven't come home yet. It's 3 a.m. Eli is asleep, exhausted from crying. But I can't sleep because from outside Eli's window, my window now, comes a soft, rhythmic sound. Tap, tap, tap. Not on the glass. It's coming from the wall, from the inside of the house's siding. It's learned where my room is, and it's trying to get in. It saw me.